bring a pause to the fighting, with negotiations continuing for a fourth day to attempt to secure a unanimous UN Security Council vote on the suspension of hostilities in Gaza. Meanwhile, separate talks are understood to be continuing to arrange another exchange of hostages held by Hamas for Palestinian prisoners detained in Israel. Egypt and Qatar are thought to be trying to broker a deal, and the leader of Hamas, which is considered to be a terrorist organisation by the US and many other countries, Ismail Haniyeh, has travelled to Egypt to meet the country's intelligence chief. He's already held talks in Iran, which is one of the closest supporters of Hamas.
So there, as you can see, someone said to you, what's your comments on Gaza? This confrontation between Hamas, the terrorists, and then Israel. They want to exterminate Israel, etc. And basically the attack that they made in October against Israel was a terrorist attack. Just the same as in Northern Ireland, in Great Britain, we had the problem with the Irish, the IRA, who wanted, the nationalists in Ireland wanted, they wanted autonomy. The IRA blew up, tried to blow up the British Prime Minister, and that went on for more than 20 years. And you had the British Army there fighting them, didn't they? That was never called a war. Okay, now that's my question, because obviously, yes, you've got a terrorist organisation that's being funded and assisted by outside sources, as were the IRA. And yes, you've got the state of Israel trying to defend itself. Now, the state of Israel really is in control because the Israeli army is much stronger than Hamas. And obviously, it's really up to the state of Israel, with their superior military forces, to establish what they want to attain by removing Hamas, destroying the tunnels, etc. So I hesitate when they talk about it being a war, because it can be ended at any time when Israel says, okay, we've done our bit, we'll stop now, we'll negotiate a peace. And so what's happening at the moment is Israel is prolonging this conflict to try and destroy the tunnels, etc. Now, a lot of people say, oh, it's so important because it's Israel, you know, it's Jerusalem. But bear in mind, there's been a war going on in Ukraine for 2 years. Now, when the Russians started that, they didn't call it a war. They called it a military operation, didn't they? They thought it was temporary. And their purpose was to have a negotiated settlement so that the Russian speakers in the eastern part of the country the war would stop against them, because the Ukrainian regime since 2014 has been trying to exterminate them or force them to become westernized, and hence that had been going on. So that has turned into a war because the West has been supporting Ukraine and building up its military for a long time, which shocked the Russians because the Ukrainian military was so strong. So there's a real war going on. And now we've got this one, which is a very nice diversion, because while the real war in Ukraine has gone on for 2 years, Russia has built up its strength, hasn't it? It's turned a war footing, and the sanctions and all the activities by the West to try and destroy Russia has failed. And in fact, all it's done is united Russia and China more, which is a bigger threat to the West than it was before. But going back to Gaza, the significance there is that this is really just a confrontation. It's not really a war. It's a diversion, a useful diversion. A lot of people say, yes, but, you know, there's 3 main religions in Jerusalem. The Bible, the Quran, and even the Jewish part of the Bible, because of the 3 religions. The Christian part of the religions, Jesus was born in the area 2,000 years ago, and you had the Muslims who established that city as well, and they believe that Prophet Jesus will return and save Jerusalem just before the Day of Judgment. So there's a very big religious connotation, and when we talk about the Middle East and the problems around Jerusalem and the connections with the 3 main religions of the world, it's very surprising that you're going to get lots and lots of YouTubers saying this is Bible prophecy, etc. Now I'm going to go into that on my second brief video on this Gaza. So my point here is that that'll be dealt with, the religious aspect, and does it mean it's going to be the end of the world, and what is going to happen with Jerusalem, because the Jews or the Israelites, Israelis believe that they're going to have a re-establishment of the temple, etc., the Jewish temple. So that's a question I'm going to deal with on the next video. So there's my comments. I believe it's all behind the machinations of Satan, who has a manipulating effect on all the countries of the world and religions, and this is part of a game he's playing. It does indicate that we are living in what Jesus foretold would be the last days, leading up to his, some people call it the second coming. So that's interesting. So thank you for your attention. Take care, everybody. I just got back from shopping and it's extremely busy in our shops, supermarkets, etc., stores, because there's Christmas panic buying. So it's all exciting as we lead up to a couple of days of gluttony. Thank you very much. Take care.